Hello and welcome to All About Billings. We are a show dedicated to discovering the people who make Billings a great place to work and live. We will interview local business people, community leaders, artists, entertainers, and learn from them all about their successes, their failures, and their connection to Billings. I'm your host, Nancy Brook, broker and owner at Billings Best Real Estate. And today it is my pleasure to have as my guest Kaylinn Swaim, who is the owner of the Monkey Around Play Cafe. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So, Monkey Around, what a fun name for a business. It sounds just like what it is, a place for kids to go have fun.
Yes, absolutely. We want it to be real easy to make the connection. And that's what we specialize in, is getting the wiggles out and letting the kids run around like little monkeys.
Well, so tell us a little bit about how the business started. I know you've had it for 2 years, but it's been around a little longer than that.
Yep, so it has been around for 3.5 years now, and it was started by a set of sisters who opened it in homage to their late mother, who used to take the grandkids to an indoor playground, and their kids had grown and the sisters were empty nesters, and they just decided that that is what they wanted to do. And then it was time to move on, and I actually found out the first day of maternity leave from a previous job that it was looking for new owners, and I told my husband, hey, I'm going to quit my job. I'm not coming home from maternity leave. We're going to buy an indoor playground. And he said, okay. And then we did. And it's been crazy ever since.
Wow. So you not only, well, and you have 3 kids of your own, but then of course you have all these kids all day long, right?
Yes. Yep. It's a noisy life, but it's a good one.
So what happens at Monkey Around?
So we have kind of a couple different ways to play. The main one is going to be open playtime, and so that's anybody that wants to just come in and play and use the equipment. So we specialize in active playtime for kids 10 and under. I personally find the sweet spot is really for like kids 8 and under tend to have the most fun. But we get a lot of like stay-at-home moms who need somewhere to go during the day. A lot of like grandparents and nannies on like in the weekdays, and then on the weekends just like families coming in for open playtime. So that's the majority of what we do. But we also have birthday parties, which are so fun. I love when we get to celebrate birthdays. We also have camps. We occasionally do classes, special events, things like that. So
people just come and the kids kind of get their yayas out. That's the whole idea.
Yeah. So our heart is to care for kids and caregivers. So everything we do is really that duality. Are we caring for kids, and are we caring for their caregivers? And so we try to provide a nice place that, like, let's say stay-at-home moms can sit and enjoy and socialize or read a book or work on something or whatever they need to do while the kids have a chance to just go crazy. So we specialize in gross motor playtime. So think of like what you would do at recess, really big movements, climbing, jumping, running, anything that's really big is really what we focus on. You won't find like dress up or play food or things like that at our space. But the hope is that caregivers can come in and relax and unwind and hang out and enjoy like company, or just enjoy like a minute without kids needing them, basically. Like, because you know, kids, I always joke, it's like you just feel like they're always attached to you, right? And so you're like, okay, you guys go play for just a minute and let me just like have a moment to remember that I'm my own person real quick. And then the kids, they just go nuts and play and have fun, and hopefully it's a chance to build community and care for both the kids and the caregivers.
Well, and times have changed, right? Because when I was growing up, you know, we could just run to the playground even if we were 3 or 4 on our own, and nobody thought anything of it. But nowadays, of course, people are involved in after-school activities, parents are working, so a community center like this is really kind of a needed activity, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons that kids might need a space that's indoors. So primarily in the winters is when we're busiest, because you're gonna can't go outside when it's -20 and there's 2 feet of snow. Even if you could walk to the playground, you're not going to.
You might freeze your little fingers on the monkey bars.
Yes. But we also get like a lot of moms who are maybe expecting 2nd and 3rd babies, and going to the playground is not an easy task when you are super pregnant, or Let's say you have mobility issues. Like there's a lot of grandparents that come in and they're like, it's not, like I can't lug my kids to the playground and go chase them around. That's not something that I'm like physically capable of doing. Or our communities have gotten a lot closer together, especially on the West End. There's really not as much room as there used to be. Our yards aren't as big, or we have a lot of families that are in apartments and townhouses and condos and things like that. And so they need a space outside of their home because the area they live in doesn't provide that.
Well,
So-
that makes sense.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons, or kids who have, we see a lot of kids with, we call it like varying needs and abilities. So we say all abilities are always welcome, but there's times where you might have a child that's a runner, like a very extreme runner and on some kind of a sensory spectrum, and going to the park might actually be really dangerous. And so that, you know, it's like we're closed off, you can't escape, there's alarms if a kid were to get out and exit he's not supposed to. It's really easy to keep an eye on things, or I like obviously work, I own the business, and so when I'm staffed, when I'm there like to work, I let my kids play while I sit and do computer work. And we have a lot of moms who do remote work, and so they'll come for a couple hours and they can safely let their kids just go have fun and not worry about, is my kid going to run away at the park? Are they going to get burned on the slide because the sun is too hot? Or all those kinds of things.
Oh, that really is a good idea. If you're working from home, you can have a little respite, take your kids somewhere they're going to enjoy themselves and do a little work from your computer.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
It's fun. It's part of what actually inspired me to take it over. So my mom got her nursing degree when I was really young. I was, I think, 5 when she graduated. Maybe 6, but I have all of these like very early memories of my mom taking us to an indoor playground in the town that I grew up in, and she would haul all of her books and all of her notebooks, and she would tell me and my sister, you know, you've got 3 hours, go play and run and go crazy as much as you want. I have to study, I've got to write papers, all that stuff. So it's really cool. It's a great spot, yeah, for parents who have like a task to do but want to make sure their kids are safe, engaged, and not just locked in on the screen.
Well, and that's always an easy babysitter, the screen anymore, right? I mean, you know, it's changed a lot in 20 years.
Yes, yeah. Screens have a time and a place. They can be utilized as a really great tool, but they're also very easy to be a crutch, and we're seeing some really long-term detrimental effects from too much screen time too young. It's really important for kids to get a lot of the motor-driven playtime. It's vital for development, and you can even see long-term how a lot of gross motor playtime benefits literacy, sleeping habits, social skills, self-esteem, and things like that.
So what have you done to get the word out about the business? Because I would think that's got to be the most important part, right? Growing it.
Yeah, letting people know we're here. I take every opportunity, so if somebody wants to talk, I say, let me come talk to you about it. We have a really big social presence. We're very active on social media. We try to partner with different businesses in the community as much as we can. So we actually just did like a big partnership with Big Dipper Ice Cream. Love Big Dipper. They're a fantastic, very supportive local business. We do a lot of that. We do a lot of just like out on the street asking people like, hey, like, have you heard of us? Like, here's a pass to come on in and check it out. Things like that. Word of mouth is huge though, especially moms want something they can trust, and they tend to trust their mom friends. So we try to encourage people as much as possible to go tell their friend to come on in.
And things have started to catch on in the 2 years that you've had it, and I know you had a bit of a track record before.
Yeah, so we have seen, I'm really thankful, we've seen a lot of very substantial growth, particularly in the winter. Our summers are a lot harder.
Right.
So summer is especially when we extra need community engagement and community support, because there are so many other options. There's parks and pools and splash pads and things like that that you can do in the summertime that you aren't able to do in the winter. But we've seen growth, we've seen really good response from the community. So it's really positive and really encouraging.
So what has been the most enjoyable thing about having this business?
You know, it's so sweet to see, there's a couple things that come to mind. Number one is just to see kids like really get their skills down. Like I've got to see kids that have gone from crawling to walking to climbing, and maybe It's like, oh my gosh, now they're able to like pull themselves up to this bar, or now they're running, or now they're big enough they can like pick up this block and move it around. And oh my gosh, now they're like intentionally building towers. And now like it's really amazing to see kids develop. That is awesome. But the other thing, the most important thing to me is giving moms a space. I obviously have a heart for moms. When I just had my first, I did not understand how isolating it was. And so to hear moms say like, oh my gosh, I got to just like talk to my friend for a minute. Like I got to have an adult conversation and I haven't had that in 3 weeks. Like, thank you for giving me a place to do that. That to me is what's really enjoyable, because moms of young kids statistically are some of the most isolated people. And you wouldn't think that, because they're young, they're able-bodied for the most part, can do things, but there's a lot about motherhood that is inherently can be kind of isolating, and then socially and societally can be really isolating. Kids aren't welcomed in a lot of places.
Well, and you mentioned the first year is one of the toughest years in a person's life.
Yep, your first year after your first child statistically is the hardest personally for a mother, and is, if she's married, statistically is when their marriage suffers the most, and families are most likely to enter into some kind of counseling and experience the most familial stress the first year after your first child is born.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And so this is just a way for people to get out with their kids, connect with other parents who are at your place, and just kind of have a little bit of time.
Yeah, sometimes you find peers that are like in the exact same stage as you. Sometimes you find families that are a little bit ahead. Sometimes you might find a grandparent who is like, oh honey, let me tell you, when I was raising my babies, this is what worked and what didn't. And now she's, helping with the second generation. Maybe mom works or grandma just wants to do something fun or whatever it is, that you can almost get a little bit of wisdom and insight from those that are a little bit above you too.
What would you say is the most surprising thing that you've experienced that you didn't expect?
Oh gosh. Oh, there's a lot. There's so much you don't know until you're in it. Truthfully, a lot of it is the financials. It's not a lucrative business by any stretch at all. So even though by all metrics we're pretty successful, it's still very hard to sustain the business. So I was really surprised, even by like the things that you don't think about coming out. Like, oh, there's a plumbing issue. That's a $2,000 check. Oh, my insurance increased. That's another $3,000 a year. Oh, this happened. And now, that sort of thing. Truthfully, like that is what has been most surprising to me. Also, the things that local businesses can consider to be competition. So there's like a couple different indoor kids spaces in town. And most people will be like, oh, that's your competition. And it's like, no, what's really my competition is the fact that mom is like stressed out and leaving the house sounds very challenging. That is what like may keep a mom from coming in. It's, oh, this family has a really limited income and maybe there's $100 of discretionary spending for the month, and mom really would rather go treat herself to a coffee. Like those kinds of things. I love the business side of things. That's what always fascinates me. And so once I realized that like that is the barrier, that was very surprising to me. That the things I assumed would be competitive with us are actually not as much as some of these other things are.
So it's just making different choices with the time and the money versus coming to have kids have fun at a play center.
Right. Yep. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Or like let's say, so like my son had to go to physical therapy and occupational therapy after he was born. He had low muscle tone, and we were going to therapy appointments 2 to 3 times a week. And it was like, oh my gosh, that took all of my mental stamina, which led to isolation, because then all of the stamina I had to get out of the house was actually spent on medical appointments, when I wish it had been spent going to play groups and making friends and being social and things like that. So you're competing against that sort of thing as well.
Well, and I think the other thing that it never really occurred to me, this is really important for the mothers and the fathers. I imagine mostly it's mothers, but the mothers and the fathers, as a way for them to have a respite and to get out and to enjoy the companionship of other people.
Yeah.
That it's not just for the kids, it's also for the parents.
Yeah.
Which it never would have occurred to me.
Isn't that funny? Like, yeah, there's so many things you don't assume until you're in it. So we actually have started, we're testing it out for a couple weeks this summer, a Moms of Toddlers group, where we're closing it just for moms of toddlers to come and get to know each other and to hopefully foster that community. And we lower the price, so it's only $8 to come play for 2 hours, and we don't ever charge for adults. But yeah, it is just as much for, that's why we say kids and caregivers. We are, like, I would say probably 70 to 75% of who comes in are moms, but we do get dads, grandparents, foster parents, aunties, anybody that might be caring for a child.
And so summers are a little different because obviously people are going outside and doing things.
Yeah.
Do you have an opportunity to kind of take some break? And because I can imagine it's got to be a lot, though, because you have 3 kids and then plus you're with kids all day. I mean, nothing wrong with kids, but it's a lot of activity.
Yeah, I'm really thankful I do have a staff. So I guess one of the other things that surprised me is I assumed I'd be able to bring my kids, and I'm like, this is perfect, my kids will play all day. And day one, I realized that if you've ever had a toddler, they don't do what you think they'll do. And so very quickly I realized that wasn't an option, and so I do have a staff that I'm really thankful for. So I'm not in the building quite as much, and we do cut our hours significantly in the summer. During the winter, we have about 60 hours of open play time, and in the summer, we have about 20 hours of open play time. So we go down by about a third or 2/3. But we do, get a little bit of a break. But really, by the time summer rolls around, I'm deep in planning for, okay, what does our fall and our winter look like, and how are we going to make sure that that's successful, and do we have all of our systems in place? Are there things that need to be evaluated? Is there equipment that needs to be traded? So there's always something going on.
Well, it sounds like something that keeps you busy on multiple fronts, because not only do you have the kids there, but you also have the equipment, and I'm sure you have to clean the equipment, and then you have the business aspects, and then you're getting the word out. So you really wear a lot of hats.
Always. Yeah, and on top of that, I'm a chef and chauffeur because I've got 3 kids.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, but I'm thankful for the team that I have. I've got an awesome new manager, McKenna. She's taken over a lot of the events and things like that. So it is really good. But there's also, there's a lot of growing pains with it. With, okay, how does it look to grow this direction, or to change things this way, or bring new people on and train them, and have a staff, but then have the business to support a staff. And anybody that owns a business knows what that's like. You know, if you've ever been in management or owned a business, you know that there's a very delicate dance that goes with it.
So what would be your advice to anybody wanting to start a business, especially in Billings?
My advice for anybody that wants to start a business in Billings.
Sounds like you just jumped in.
Yeah, I did. I went crazy. I think you have to be a little bit crazy. No, truthfully, I would say I'm very pro small business. I have found, thankfully, a lot of support from local businesses. And in fact, I had even shared, hey, Monkey Around is actually struggling a lot this summer, and we could use some support. And I had several small businesses reach out and say, hey, we are seasonal, we're opposite seasonal, we get it. When we're doing well, we're gonna come help you. And it's amazing. So I would say if you're looking to start a business in Billings, one is look at the other businesses and what they're doing and how you can work alongside them. One thing that is very unique to Billings is they are more community driven than a lot of other communities. I'm part of a couple of national groups of indoor playgrounds and play cafes, and they just talk about how it's really hard to get other businesses to work with them. And I'm so thankful that there's a lot of businesses that they can call on me and I can call on them, and we really try to support each other as much as possible. And I think if you're starting a business, you need to have an attitude of, I'm willing to work with people. I want to work with people. I want to partner. I want to see us all succeed. So that's Billings specific. The advice I give other people is just plan for everything to go wrong. You start a business and you're like, yep, this is my plan and how it's going to go. And then it's like, oh, didn't imagine the plumbing issue there. Didn't imagine that I'd have this sort of an issue. Didn't imagine that that was going to come up, or, oh, this thing broke and it was supposed to last another couple of years and now I'm trying to figure out if it's a warranty or if it's something I have to replace, or there's so many things. And people go in, I do consultation a little bit for play cafes around the country, and they're always like, well, this is my plan. I said, great, I love your plan. I want you to imagine 8 things that are going to go wrong with your plan and then double it, and that's what you can expect.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's not a bad thing. That's not to deter anyone, but I think knowledge is power. And if you know that things are going to go wrong, then you can at least roll with the punches a little bit more. You know?
So your husband is not actively involved in the business.
Yeah, he's got a lot of his own stuff. He's much more on the backside. He doesn't do a lot of the day-to-day stuff.
Right. So what are his thoughts after this time?
He's like, yeah, it was a little bit crazy to do. But it has also like afforded us a lot of other opportunities. And so he's supportive. He's very business-minded as well. So he's like, well, what if we tried this? And what if we tried this? And then I come in, I'm like, okay, well, practically speaking, this is what that looks like. Your big ideas, let's play those out, and then we can come and say like, okay, yeah, that one works and that one doesn't, or this one would work if we tried it this way. So he's a lot of that. He's a lot of emotional support. He's a lot of like, I'm gonna go take the kids. He takes them and plays the monkey around with them. I don't make them come and work with me when I'm there. So we, have a chance to let him go play and run with the kids, so then I can get actual work done.
Right.
Like,
well, and I would think, it just would be like challenging as a whole family affair too, though, because I'm sure he's working and then you're running the cafe, you're doing it all, and then you're raising 3 kids. It must some days seem a little chaotic.
yeah, to say the least. We're crazy. My kids are outside right now. I'm sure you can hear them, hoping that they're not hanging from the rafters. But yeah, it is very chaotic, but we also believe that like kids should be exposed to a lot of things, and so it's important that they are like, like mom and dad have a business, and so sometimes we have to go do things for the business. And my older, they're 2 and almost 4, but they do love to help, like as much as they can. Like if we are ordering more inventory, they sit down and we talk about, okay, we're gonna order like these Beanie Babies for we have like some things at the cafe that aren't food related. We try to have some other things at concessions. And so they'll help with that. Or if they do come with me, which is very rare, they love to jump in and help clean and things like that. And so we want our kids to be around that. But yeah, it's crazy. It's a little overwhelming. So but we make it work.
So what do you envision for your future?
My hope is that I know it's rough right now, and businesses typically need about 5 years to really be established. So Monkey Around is technically at year 3.5. I really consider us more at year 2 because so many changes have come since I took over. My hope is that we find our groove in the next 3 years. We really hone in, make ourselves known, potentially find a better suited location. That would definitely be a long-term dream of mine, is to find a location that really is something that we feel like we can settle in on. I think my dream is if I get to Monkey Around 5 years from now and I've got a postpartum moms support group going on, and I've got kids playing, and we have partnered with another local business to run the coffee shop, so that's not something that's necessarily on our plate, and we can really step that up. And you walk in and you're like, okay, that side is functioning, and these moms who desperately need it are getting the support and care they need, and these kids are playing and growing, and we just have kind of found our stride, and can be around for a long time. That would be my hope.
Well, I've heard it said that really, 5 years is certainly a milestone, but it takes probably 10 good years of digging in before you start seeing that overnight success.
Yes.
I think that's what people don't realize. Starting any business, whether it's, your play cafe, whether it's real estate like I do, it's never really easy, even when you seem like things are going successful, because there's always new challenges and new, I guess, things you have to deal with.
Yep. There's always something around the corner. There's always, we're impacted by the things that happen in our community and the businesses that come to our community. And so even with my manager, I was like, okay, this is how we're going to pivot and this is what we're going to do. And yeah, you do it all with a smile. Like, that's the choice, you know?
Right.
So,
well, and where can people find out about the cafe, about Monkey Around?
Yeah, so the easiest place is Facebook. We're super active on our socials. That's where you find out most. We also have a website, monkeyaroundbillings.com. We keep it pretty updated as much as we can. We oftentimes will do like little pop-ups and things like that. So if you go to our website, there's a spot to sign up for like text messages on flash deals, like, okay, it's $10 playtime today, or 2 for 1, or a free kids snack pack when you come in, or we do stuff like that, discounts on birthday parties. So that's all like funneled through our website. Facebook is a great place. I have a fairly big TikTok account. Okay. Which I know sounds funny, but I show the behind the scenes of everything. Like, every month I go through our profit and loss statement on TikTok, and I share all the ins and outs, which people say I'm crazy for, but I find it to be really helpful. So that's some of the different ways that you can find out. But we're located at 24th and Broadwater. We're right across, like, diagonal from Softies, and I feel like I can say that because Softies is an institution, you know, who doesn't know that. And so we're just diagonal from them, and I always encourage people, just come on by, come poke your head in and see what it's about. We've got all kinds of stuff. So people can take the kids to play, and then when they're done, they can just go across kitty corner and get a Softies. Yeah, absolutely. What a perfect day. I know. Yes. Yeah, we've got Softies. We've got Local Berry. I always like to plug Big Dipper downtown because there's some great partners with us too. But yes, I'm a big fan of Softies. They're awesome. You know. But yeah, come play, come hang out. We also allow outside food and drinks, and so we have a lot of families that will come and like pick up their lunch on the way in and come hang out for a couple hours, or bring a brown bag lunch. Sure, like a little picnic almost. Yeah, I've got 2 specific families in mind, and one comes with their PB&J sandwiches and their little chips and their drinks, and the other brings a turkey sandwich and their little fruit cups and all that stuff, and they come and they hang out for like 4, 5, 6 hours. It's great. Oh, well, that sounds like fun. Well, you really have a passion for kids and parents, it sounds like, and the community. Yeah, absolutely. So all 3 of these intersect with your business. They do. When the family thrives, the community thrives. The data shows again and again and again, if you support families, your community is 100% always better for it. Love it. So that's what we do. Thank you so much for joining us today on the show. It was really a pleasure to get to know you. Thanks. And everybody, thank you so much for watching All About Billings, and we hope to see you next time.